And the Federal Reserve is expected to announce a new policy on inflation this week. It would allow inflation to run above the usual target of around 2% per year if it's been running below that level for several years. It's the latest chapter in the Fed's war against deflation. Deflation is basically a fall in the cost of goods and services. The Fed doesn't like deflation because it says people will spend less during times of deflation because they'll wait for prices to hit the bottom first. That loss of spending would then in turn hurt the economy. But Daniel Lacalle, chief economist at the Tressis hedge fund, says that the Fed's insisting that prices only rise hurts households and businesses. Say if wages fall and unemployment rises, like in the current pandemic, but the cost of goods keeps rising, the economy will stagnate and quality of life will get worse.
There is a case for moderate deflation, because we need to understand that the reason why prices are coming down is not because there's any problem because households are deciding not to consume. It's because the economy is weak, or because there's overcapacity, or because the companies are being more efficient. Prices coming down is something that no consumer ever has been worried about. I don't know anyone that has ever left the supermarket saying it's intolerable because food prices are lower. Or I have never seen somebody coming out of a service station and saying gas prices are down, I cannot accept this. No, the reality is that moderate prices are very important. Central banks want prices to rise and inflation to go up. Why? Because they believe that that will sort of dissolve debt via inflation. And that happens only for governments. An average household, myself, a company, does not reduce its debt burden because of inflation. Why? Because the things that we purchase go up and the things that we earn go down in real terms. So the only one that benefits from inflation in order to reduce debt is actually government, or the crony sectors that depend on inflation-linked pricing. None of those are the drivers of economic growth. And central banks need to change their attitude towards price moves, because this obsession with increasing inflation is going to lead many economies to stagflation in at least the midterm.
So if people need to keep spending money for essentials like food and education, but constant inflation keeps making things more expensive, ask Daniel, what would this mean for him as the head of a household?
Think about this. We are in the middle of a tremendous crisis. And when I look at what we pay on a daily basis, food, education, healthcare, the different goods and services that we pay on a daily basis, none of those have fallen in a tremendous crisis. So I may be privileged because I have not suffered in my job. I have not lost my job. I continue to have more or less the same income. But think about the hundreds, the thousands of families that are seeing either their salaries cut or their jobs lost. The prices continue to go up. This is a problem, and it's a problem because the Fed is wrong and central banks are wrong about the idea that if prices fall, economic agents will decide to consume less and to postpone their consumption decisions. It's something that is based on old theories of very closed economy that do not work. I, as a household agent, as somebody in a household, I am not going to stop buying food, goods, services, education, paying for education, paying for healthcare because prices fall. And somebody that is looking to purchase a home is not going to decide to postpone the decision if that price is lower, because it's a very important decision for a family. So I think that what we need to stop is this idea that central banks need to combat deflation. It's a mistake. It ignores technology, disinflation, and the improvements in productivity. And it also is making it more difficult for the average household to make ends meet month after month, even in periods in which the economy is growing.